Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Allie and I am very excited to get started decorating for spring. So in this video, we're gonna do part one of my spring decorating with me. And in it, I'm gonna share with you phase one of my spring decor. When it comes to decorating for a big season like spring, I really like to do it in phases because I first like to take out the items that I already have and go through them and see how I can arrange them in a way that makes them feel fresh and good in my home this spring. And it's really only once I have my items out that I already own that I can really assess and see where there are gaps that I need to fill. Then I'll take a trip out to the stores, maybe a place like HomeGoods or Michael's, Hobby Lobby, shop online, and just see where maybe there are gaps that need to be filled or items that I need that I don't have from previous years. So in this video, I'm going to be working with items that I already own, sort of shopping my closet, looking at some of the florals that I've used in years past, and maybe just arranging them in a different way. I'm gonna give you guys a ton of tips. So also in this video, I'll be sharing with you coffee table styling for spring, console table styling for spring. I'll share with you the styling I'm doing on my dining table right here, as well as what I've done in my kitchen. I will also link everything below for you that I can. And if it's not something I can link, I always do my best to try to give you suggestions. So just make sure that you check the description box below if you like anything that you see. And if you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. That really helps my channel. Drop me a comment down below and let me know what you guys think and maybe what you guys do to start decorating for spring in your home. If you like videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and make sure that you have your notifications turned on. This way you won't miss a video. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm getting started today in the main living space of our home, and I'm going to begin by styling our coffee table. And I'm beginning with this large round woven tray. Bringing in something woven like this in this basket texture really says spring to me. It feels light and airy and nice and fresh and breathable. So I'm adding that to begin, and on top of that, I'm placing these two tall taper candle holders. I got those from Crate & Barrel when my husband and I got married. It was from our registry many, many years ago. And I'm adding in this smaller vase with just two little sprigs of succulents. Succulents are also great for spring, and I like that it just brings a pop of life to that area. Now you guys might remember on my recent Shop With Me to HomeGoods, which I'll link for you down below, I picked up this selenite candle holder, and adding in a stone element like this, especially when you pair it with wood or baskets, it just really brings in that natural element that our eyes and our minds really crave. It helps the mind and the eye to relax. And now I added in this vase. I love this vase. It has such a natural, organic feel with that stone texture, and I love the shape of it. I picked up these stems from HomeGoods, and I really love the very subtle pink that they have in the green. I like that they have a lot of movement to them and how they're kind of just cascading and draping. Just really beautiful for spring and adds a nice pop of green to the coffee table. I'm going in now with two coffee table books, and I'm going to top them off with this candle. Now this was in my most recent video. I did a video on 4 different DIYs for spring, and this is a dupe from something I saw on the Anthropology website. It's pretty easy to make, so go ahead and check that video out. I'll link it for you down below. And now you can see that I took this vintage wooden ladle and I made a little pocket with some moss, and I added another candle to that. And when we can add moss in areas, that really does signal spring, and it really just warms up an area, adds that little touch of greenery, and really makes an item pop. I love pairing greenery with wood, and I just think overall it adds a beautiful texture to the table. Heading over to our console table in our entryway, I wanted to give this area a nice refresh for spring as well. And as you can see, I'm just getting started with our plain black wooden console table, and I'm leaving this lamp here to the left This is one of my favorite lamps. It's a mercury glass lamp that I picked up from Amazon several years ago, and I really just like the way that it gives me that stacked stone kind of feel. So I'm starting with two different vases, and I just kind of want to compare and see which one would be best for the stems that I'm going to be using in them. And the vase on the left is one that I DIY'd. It used to be a glass vase. I'll link that DIY for you down below. That is ultimately the one that won out for me. And into that vase, I'm adding a few of these moss stems. Again, moss is a great way to signal spring. There's so much growth in spring, and we tend to see moss everywhere. So I love these mossy ferns to soften up the ranunculus that I'm going to be adding in just a minute. So as you can see, I'm bending the bottom of this stem a little bit less than what it was because I want that back piece to stand up a little bit taller. So when you're arranging your florals, definitely play around with heights. Now I'm going in with these three separate ranunculus stems, and I'm just sort of opening them up and weaving them around the mossy ferns. This helps to give it a really natural sort of grown in feel and gives the idea that they grew together like this. Now to the left, I'm adding in this spring landscape art, which I picked up from Hobby Lobby. I love the frame on this. It has such a beautiful vintage feel, and I feel as though it brings in all the gorgeous spring colors and vibes, but in a very neutral and muted sort of way. In front of that, I'm going to be adding this little mini tray that I found at HomeGoods. It's actually a piece of petrified wood, and it's just a good place to have to maybe you can leave it empty as a placeholder for keys. In this case, I'm using my Palo Santo sticks, and I'm adding in that little glass match cloche. I really do like lighting Palo Santo sometimes, especially in my entryway. It just gives off a nice, relaxing, pleasant aroma. And underneath that, I had this moss patch, and I'm showing you here that the moss patch ties in really nicely with those mossy fern leaves that I have in the floral arrangement. And now to the left of that, I'm going in with this marble book holder. Now this book stand is just a really great way to bring in another natural organic element and then show off some of the pages of those coffee table books. So I flipped open to a page that has a very calm, relaxing feel with a neutral vibe, and I just set it down on top of the book holder. And to the left of that, I'm going in with one of my favorite vases. It has a lot of distressing, really natural feel, and I added in a few of those cotton stems to just give a nice pop of white. Now to the bottom of the console table, I'm adding in these two baskets, again giving that breathable, natural, organic element. And into the left one, I'm adding in these spring stems. These are just beautiful stems that look like spring to me. They have little tiny buds of green on them, and I think that they complement the baskets really nicely. Now it's time to add in a couple flickers of light. So I had the lantern there on the left to sort of anchor the entire arrangement, and I'm adding in a battery operated candle up top on the console table. I love adding a flicker of light into a vignette. It really just helps bring movement and softness to the area. So if you're ever feeling like something is lacking when you're styling a piece of furniture or a corner of a room, go through what I call the 4 Fs. I explained this in a recent video, which I'll link for you down below, but essentially all it is making sure that you have a number of these 4 elements: a floral, a fabric, a flicker, and a focal point. And in this case, my vignette has all 4 of those, and sometimes 2 of each. So I have the florals on both the right and the left. I have a fabric, which I consider to be that mossy patch underneath the petrified wood. I have flickers with the 2 flickers of light that I added. And I have my focal point, which is that beautiful piece of artwork. Now I'm getting ready to style the dough bowl on my dining table. And I'm beginning with that long white, beautiful dough bowl. I think it brings such a gorgeous element, and it's the perfect size for the table. I have a garland, which I picked up from Hobby Lobby, and now I'm just showing you several different succulent stems that I picked up from the picks section, along with a nice bunch of moss. You can get this moss on Amazon or really at any craft store. And then I'll be adding to the arrangement 2 of these lanterns. So I'm going to begin by placing the garland inside the dough bowl. And this one is just enough, as you can see, to fill up the space. The one thing I'll say about this arrangement that I'm doing that I love, it's so approachable, especially if you feel like you've never done one of these before. It's very wild and very forgiving, so nothing about this needs to be precise. You want this to feel grown in, sort of overgrown and wild looking. So I just am opening up some of those leaves on the garland, and now I'm adding in 1 of each of those picks to either side. Now when it comes to floral picks like this, I would say you definitely want at least 2 or 3 of the same kind, because our brains love repetition. So when we can repeat a pattern or repeat a flower in different areas of the arrangement, it tends to look really good together. So as you can see, I have those 4 succulents, so I'm placing 1 on the right, 2 in the center in different directions, and 1 on the left. And since I have 3 of this type, it's only natural for me to place 1 in the center, 1 on the right there, and 1 on the left. And I'm altering the position I'm putting them in. Some are facing forward, some are facing backward, because you want to consider how the arrangement is going to look from 360 degrees, right? All the way around. So now I'm just going in and I am sort of interweaving the elements that I've added. And I'm going to be adding moss now underneath everything. Nothing about this needs to be perfect. You just want to create little pillows of moss to give a nice pop of that fresh green color underneath the succulents. So I'm just lifting up some of the succulents that I've already placed, adding some moss below them, and then just replacing the succulents. This just, again, gives that natural, grown-in feel that looks really beautiful. You don't need to include moss in every single area, but you do just want to make sure that you have some throughout the entire piece from left to right to give that repetition. And now I've got my battery operated candles. I love these because I love that the wick moves. So at night especially, it just gives a really beautiful feel and adds movement to that space. Overall, I love the way that this piece turned out. I think it's just so gorgeous. It really represents spring to me. I love the way all the different colors and textures play off of one another, and how it just feels really grown in and wild looking. Perfect for spring, perfect for a dining table centerpiece. Now I'm going to just give this little side table that we have a once over, and I'm styling this piece beginning with an organic wood vase. Into that vase, I'm popping in these eucalyptus stems. I have about 4 of them here, and I picked these up from Target. And then interwoven through those, I'm adding in these 2 stems that I picked up from At Home. These just give that beautiful pop of color, that spring look. So if you have stems that are just plain green and you feel like they need to pick me up, maybe they're left over from the winter time, just try mixing in 2 stems that have a bit of a pop of a lighter color, and that tends to wake everything up. I have this ruffled bowl that I added a little pocket of moss in again, and this is another one of those DIYs that I did that was an Anthropologie dupe. Again, video linked for you below. I'm just adding a battery operated candle in there for another flicker of light. And this is the smaller DIY vase that I did. Just adds another texture and makes this little corner piece look beautiful for spring. Moving over to our kitchen island. I love styling this vintage antique vase. I picked it up from the antique store. It just has so much character to it and texture that really almost any stems that you add to it are going to look gorgeous. In this case, I've got 2 hydrangea stems that I mixed in with some basic green stems, which I picked up from Hobby Lobby. And I think that this just adds such a statement to the kitchen. It's light, it's airy, it's got that gorgeous pop of color that I was going for. Swapping out our dish towels for some fresh green rosemary and basil dish towels, and these really get me excited for spring gardening. I am going to be installing a garden on our property this year, so I'm very excited about that. But swapping out your dish towels is an easy, inexpensive way to freshen up your kitchen for spring. And now I'm going to pan over a few areas of my kitchen that I've already styled. I have that gorgeous Petal Lane spring frame that I grabbed from HomeGoods, and I think it just really adds such a nice little pop of spring to that corner. I added in some live succulents and some stacked cutting boards. And then over in the corner here, I have a vintage mortar. It's a stone mortar that I added some asparagus bushes that I picked up from Hobby Lobby, as well as this beautiful spring wreath, and now my kitchen feels ready for spring. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed seeing my process when it comes to starting to decorate for a season like spring. And I really overall just hope that it gave you a lot of inspiration, a lot of good motivation to just freshen up little spaces in your home for spring. If you liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, maybe what your favorite item was that you saw or a favorite tip that you learned today. I love hearing from you guys, so I really appreciate all your comments and likes. And if you did like what you saw in this video, please subscribe to my channel and make sure that you have your notifications turned on. This way you won't miss a video anytime I upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.